Welcome to Voices of Global Freedom Radio. We are broadcasting from San Diego, California, Saturday, January 17th, 2015. This is Roy Backpack Barron and our co-host Yoda. We bring our patriotic conservative audience news you can use and actionable tactics, methods, and strategies to survive and thrive in these dangerous, troubled times. We are proud to be syndicated with the popular radio networks, the Spark Radio Network, K98 Talk, and the top 5 news picks on Top Talk Radio, along with Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, and other household names. Yoda, how are you doing today?
If I was any better, Backpack, I would have to take something for it. Congratulations again, brother, on our syndication, on listing in the directory, and most of all, for the caliber guest you've got on. You have got a heavy caliber guest on tonight. I'm not going to steal her thunder. Phenomenal woman, is an actress. She's worked with the United States Marine Corps. I suppose because us Army veterans didn't contact her. Anyway, she'd done some amazing things, and we're pretty much in a second dying to hear from her. Her first name is Mel.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mel. Happy birthday to you.
Here's Mel. Hi, Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Hi. Thank you. That was very nice.
Welcome to our show. Audience is dying to hear from you. If you will, give us a little bio on you. You've done everything.
Okay, yeah. My name obviously is Mel, and I'm originally from Chicago. I've been in Los Angeles about 20 years now. I am an actress. I also do some casting and producing, and I've been at it for a long time. I won't say how long, but quite a while. So acting brought me from Chicago to L.A., and I've been doing it ever since. I also, around 9/11, got politically active. I started to wake up, as they say, and paid attention to what was going on in the world around me, because I really, before that, was in my own little, entertainment bubble and not paying attention. So I woke up and I got right into politics. I found the Hollywood Congress of Republicans, and I've been with them ever since, and it's a great group, and it's a lot of like-minded people that are in the entertainment industry that are conservative.
Tell us about Hollywood and your experiences from being from Chicago to Hollywood.
Well, that was a very big transition and a scary one for me, but it was necessary, especially if you're an actor. Like I said, I started in Chicago. I had some gigs. I made friends with some commercial producers and, really good people that went out of their way for me and got me work. But there's just very little work in Chicago. That's the unfortunate part of it. I did some theater, industrials, and like I said, commercials, but there's not a lot going on. I did book a feature film. I was considered what they call a stand-in for the female lead in a film called Gladiator. And that really gave me a good taste of what Hollywood productions are like and what the entertainment industry is like, and I fell in love. It just was the greatest experience, and I loved every minute of it, and it was not all glamorous work, but, it's just, I just felt so at home that, I knew I had to pursue this forever. And so eventually I did have one of my sisters moved out to L.A. a year prior. So that really, gave me the courage to come out, because I had somewhere to stay and I had someone that could show me around, et cetera, because otherwise I didn't know anyone out here. So I moved in with her, and then, I got work and, just started studying acting and doing my day jobs and everything like that, auditioning, and it's, worked out. I've been here ever since, so it's 20 years ago now.
You ought to make a movie out of that. Were you in Steppenwolf in Chicago?
I did audition for them once. But no, I was not in that theater. No, that was a great group, Gary Sinise, his group. I may have even auditioned for him. I mean, I've met him later, but he would never remember. But yeah, I know I didn't.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
not a part of that theater company.
Personal anecdote. It's like an anecdote, only I'm telling it. One of the daughters I raised was into lighting at Steppenwolf.
Oh.
I
Okay.
think she was late in high school or early in college, and she wormed her way into lighting there. And small world, isn't it? I lived there quite a while. I lived out by the airport, but traveled all the time. Tell us about the Hollywood Republicans, if you will.
Yeah, okay. It's a group, like I said.
Everybody thinks there are 6 Republicans in the industry.
I know, that's a misconception. Yeah, there are actually thousands of us. The Hollywood Republicans was formed in 2001, and it's, like I said, it's mainly people that are actors, directors, producers, writers, singers, stuff like that. And there are other groups now that have formed, that have come out of the Hollywood Republicans. We were the first. We were the original. And then you had, little subgroups coming out of there, and which is good, and then it just empowered more people to come out of the closet, if you will, and say they're conservative and stand up for their beliefs in this industry because it's so tough. We still are grossly outnumbered, I'll tell you that, okay? So even though there are many of us, we're not the majority by any means. But then another group started called FOA. I could say it now because it's not a secret group, but it's private, and I'm a part of that as well. And that's a very, very large group of entertainment people, and there's a lot of high-profile people included in that group. But that being said, people are still, afraid, they're gun-shy about coming out and saying that they're conservative if they work in Hollywood because, it's a reality that you can lose work if people know that you are conservative.
What is your guess on percentage of Republicans in Hollywood?
Percentage to the liberals? Maybe 2 to 1, 3 to 1, maybe. Yeah. I'm not sure. We're the minority. We're the minority, but there's a number of us, and there's a lot of people that I think are coming around more now that they didn't really. A lot of these people are uninformed. They just go with the flow, and they go with what's popular. And if you have a lot of outspoken liberals, saying stuff, they'll just kind of go with them without really knowing the facts, because a lot of times when you talk to people one-on-one and you start telling them facts and the truth, they agree with you. So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people are just simply misinformed. So there are a lot more conservative people, or at least middle-of-the-road people than, one might think in this industry.
Have you seen a lot of actors and actresses getting blacklisted from jobs when they come out and say they're Republican?
I've heard of many. Stories? Yeah, there's been a lot of horror stories about that, and I won't name names, but oh yeah, absolutely. There's actors that have been in soap operas, and once they came out, their character was killed off. I know producers that once they said what their beliefs were, they were involved in projects, and all of a sudden, they were no longer involved. People that were once very popular in certain, like studios and, writers, and they were, very well liked and stuff, once they started saying what their true beliefs were, because a lot of people will just be quiet. Most of the time, conservatives just won't say anything, and they'll just kind of laugh along with whatever, but they don't really say what they truly believe. But because the ones that have, then once their political beliefs were known, they were shunned by their fellow employees that, days before loved them and just, hung out with them and stuff like that. So it is a reality. I mean, when you have actors like myself, it gets tricky because it's not like someone's going to say, I mean, these people aren't that stupid. They're not, a casting director or producer is not going to say, oh, you know what, we cast you, but we're going to fire you because you're conservative. If your name gets out there, and I hear there is a list of Hollywood conservatives out there, and I'm probably on that, but if they know, say you're an actor that is conservative, they may not even call you in to read for the audition, something like that. Or if they did call you in, and even if they liked you and it comes up, then they may not hire you for the job. So that's kind of the, predicament that we are in as actors, So.
Well, you're lighting up our emails. Yoda, what are your thoughts about this?
A quick Yoda-anecdote, Mel, like an anecdote. I was associated with a big showbiz law firm based in a building in Santa Monica, one of the highest priced buildings in the county.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I knew a couple guys worked in the parking lot. One day they came to me with a bumper sticker. Had to do with Barbra Streisand. They said they were going to put that on my car. I said, no, you're not. These guys were friends. They were friends of mine. They worked in the parking lot. I said, I don't want. Oh, they said, Yoda, you really need this. Look around. Everybody's got it. I said, I don't really care about it. Well, they were trying to protect me. I had other incidents with the law firm. I was amazed at the seeming power that she has. My word.
Oh, yeah.
So I went on. I would smoke outside with a bunch of these people, and I told them I dated Streisand. But it went on the rocks. And I was dating Dr. Laura now. Well, they literally ran away, Mel. They didn't want to be associated with this even.
Wow.
So I guess they've got some power, don't they?
Oh,
My
yeah,
word.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's true. They do have power, and it's scary. And it's a shame that in this day and age that's there's this kind of prejudice out there. I mean, I know as a casting director and producer, I have cast people that I know were not conservatives, and that's fine. I'm not prejudiced against people that aren't conservative. I mean, you're right. You have every right to your opinion. But yeah, it's a shame that others can't do the same thing, and it goes. This does go on all the time, and it's it's something that we hope will end one day. You should be judged on your talent and your work ethic, not on, what political side of the aisle you sit on.
Back to the law firm, and famous attorney called me in one day, and there was a little gal in his office. I thought she was a paralegal. So we were kidding, which I'm given to do, and on and on. And she finally said, I would like Yoda to come to the studio. And I found out she's a leading soap opera gal.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a big deal soap opera gal. It was the same conversation. She was on our side of the equation of politics, but she mentioned she wouldn't dare let it out, Mel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Big soap opera
yeah.
girl. Actually, a little girl.
Huh.
Backpack.
Now you have me thinking. I want to know who it is.
Tell you off air. You'll know when I tell you. I'm not in that world. You are really, we've got emails all over the place with your new appearance with us now.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
What are they saying, Backpack? What are they asking?
Well, there's a lot of people asking about the abomination in Chicago. That's where he was from. And did you want to speak to any of the Chicago and where politics in Chicago? A lot of people call Chicago now the socialist Republic of Chicago. So have you heard that before?
Yes, I have. Yeah, it's funny. I tell friends I came from an area called Chicago Heights. It's a southern suburb, and kind of like the Sopranos, if you will. And I had a lot of powerful friends there, and friends I liked a lot. But it was definitely that type of Soprano mentality, and that's how things are run. Well, that's how Chicago politics work, the same way. You've heard of the Chicago machine. the Daily Machine. Have you guys heard of that? You must have.
Yeah. I still work with the Chicago. I work with the Chicago police now.
Oh, do you?
As you know.
Do you?
Yeah, we work with feds and some municipalities. Therefore, we're on air in public with our pen names, Yoda and Backpack. Yeah, I've worked extensively with Chicago.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, I bet you have some good stories to tell.
Well, not as good as yours, but when we get you back on, I'll dare to tell a couple of them. Over to you, Backpack.
We do have a caller, area code 404. Caller, you want to speak your mind, ask questions?
Yeah. How does this phone connection? Is it? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can.
My name is Hassad, and I want to say you're doing a very good job. I'm off topic. I've just got on the show. I don't know the topic, but I want to say I was involved in Islam, and I have converted, and I never made a better move in my life. I just hope anyone listening, if you are radicalized or being hoaxed into being radical, please do not go forward with it. It's not a real religion. It's a cult. It's been hijacked, just like the Democrats Party has. And that's all I really care to say right now, but I'd love your show very much.
Caller, we are delighted you called. Take a look, please, at our sister magazine, themagnifiedview.com. I say again, magnifiedview.com. Write to me personally as Yoda@magnifiedview.com. Yoda, Y-O-D-A. We would like to speak with you off air. We have had numerous apostasied people like yourself on. It's a vital topic to us. So I want to communicate with you privately. Send me an email, if you will, sir. And thank you for the call.
Thank you. That leads to Mel. What are your thoughts about the Islamization of America and all these no-go zones that we're seeing in multiple states across the U.S.?
What states? Please tell me so I know.
Well, there's at least 9 states. We've seen multiple states. Yeah.
Really? Okay, I wasn't sure it was quite here.
Yeah, it's coming. You know,
scary.
We just had the recent news in France of 751 no-go zones, but they're propping up all over, mostly in rural areas where they're heavily guarded, and we've seen people try to go and talk to them, and they're shunned away. So that's been a big hot topic in the news.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just don't know how in the United States anyone could get away with that. I truly don't understand how this happens. I mean, how do you get away with it? No-go zones. That goes against our Constitution. You can't do it. How did these people get away with it? Anyone know? Maybe you guys could answer that better than I.
All right, and our listeners are all behind you. We're one of the big things is they really need to take a really hard look at, now the Republicans have the Congress and Senate, and Obama's a lame duck president in the next 2 years, and we really need to really take a good look at that and make sure that we start getting rid of the no zones however we can. So that it is a major. We're not seeing it in the what we oftentimes call the lamestream media, but it needs to be reported a lot more. So.
Well, absolutely, yeah. So I agree 100%. Yes.
Yeah, I recommend all the people listening to go Google Dearborn, Michigan, and no-go zones, and they'll see that people who are non-Islam were actually stoned when they had a parade in Dearborn. So there's an area where the Sharia law has been taken over in Dearborn, and so it's happening in the U.S. So to make people aware of what's really going on. So
yeah, I'm not too surprised it's happening in Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michigan. So, that's not surprising. I mean, there's lots of that going on there. Yeah, I just, people have to stand. Bottom line is people have to start standing up to this and not allowing it and doing whatever, like you said, they can to stop it. Getting a hold of their local elected officials, law enforcement, whatever. If they ever run across one of these zones, it has to be stopped. They have to, like I said, get people there that have some clout to disband this. It can't happen. There's no way. It's against the law. It's against the rule of law. It's against the Constitution. There's no way this should be happening in the United States. Again, it's up to us to stand up, to this and stop it.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Mell Flynn.
Doing great with our guest tonight, Mell Flynn. Sure glad she's with us. She's lit up the board, as they say. I want to talk to our fine audience about impact analytics in Florida. impactanalytics.com. Our dear friend there I work with in Beirut after the Marine barracks bombing and the U.S. Embassy bombing. Our dear man Tim Kalin is the Chief Executive Officer of Impact Analytics. Fast forwarding audience, if you have a list of 1,000 or more emails, Tim puts them together in a consortium. So a bunch of people like you, audience, with 1,000 emails, send them to him. He publishes a conservative newsletter, and because of a lot of people sending him email lists, he commands top-drawer conservative advertisers. At the end of the month, he sends you a nice check. Sounds too good to be true. It is true. I personally recommend he and I go back, as I said, to the good old days in Beirut getting shot at. So if you have 1,000 emails, please contact Tim Kalin at impactanalytics.com.
We're back with Mell Flynn, and we want to know about one of the questions that's come up is Los Angeles County politics. Could you please speak to some of your experiences with that?
Yeah, Los Angeles County obviously is very blue. Another place where we're quite outnumbered, Democrats to Republicans. But we did have some good wins this last election cycle. We did have some in the South Bay and the Santa Clarita area, and also more in the Inland Empire. We're starting to get back on the map, which is great. We have a chairman of the LA County, which is a hard worker. He's a great leader. We have a great political director and executive director. So we're really getting money that, starting to come into the county party. And that enables us to have a good running infrastructure where we could set up, for the different areas, assembly districts to help candidates in local offices and races and also, statewide and national, et cetera, to really give them some kind of, place where they can go and get help, recruit volunteers, bases where they could, do precinct walks, fundraising, phone banking, things like that. So LA County is starting to make a comeback, which is tremendous because to disregard it, it's the largest county in the nation, So we actually have here over 1 million registered Republicans, believe it or not. But we're still, like I said, outnumbered a good 2-to-1 Democrat to Republican. But people are starting to take us serious. We're getting on the map again. We're really working hard. We have good, credible candidates. And I think we're starting to, come around, and maybe we could actually get some national attention, like all the presidential candidates. They do stop in California from time to time because we have money here, But as we speak, the RNC has their convention going on in San Diego, and they have a lot of the top names, potential presidential candidates there, looking to get some perhaps funding for their campaign. So California is a viable place, and it just would be nice if, we could make it better for our Republican candidates.
Our founding editor of the Magnified View, our sister magazine, Janorama, was elected to office in Chicago. She moved out here. She was elected to office here. She's politically astute and shrewd. I'll have her contact you via email, obviously off-air, Mel. Her name's Janorama. Okay. Really our in-house politically astute gal. I'm pretty naive. I'm all right with some international terrorist stuff, but I'm pathetic with the domestic stuff. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Janorama Magnified View will make contact with you. You're doing a righteous thing, gal. What did you do?
It's worked. Mm-hmm.
We're full of veterans. We're a veteran-oriented site. I was in special operations before it was called that. Personal question, near your birthday here, not how old you are. What were you doing with the U.S. Marines?
Oh, okay, good question. I never, I'm not a part of the armed services. God bless all you and all our brave men and women, that have fought for our country, and you are our true heroes. Thank you for your service, everyone. And what I did, actually, I was hired as an actor, believe it or not. I was contacted by a casting director, and they hired a bunch of actors to go to 29 Palms, and they made like a whole village that was like a village in Iraq. And so what we did is we would help train the Marines. We would go out there in the middle of the winter or summer and spend a week at a time, and the Marines would come out there, and like I said, we recreated certain villages in Iraq, and it would help our Marines go and get the lay of the land and figure out how to do things and what they could do and couldn't do. And we acted as villagers, and it was like 24/7, around the clock. These scenarios would run, and they would just come and just see how things would go. They would check out the different villages and the homes and look for bad guys, if you will. And some of us would pose as bad guys, and some of us would just be normal civilians. And some of the people were also say Iraqi police force, and they had to work with them as well and coordinate things and plan strategies. So it was, for me, it was an acting scenario, but we really loved working with the Marines. They were all great guys. They were, good sports and very professional. And it was really a good experience. It was tough to do. I'll be honest, because we were out in the desert, and we lived in like kind of thin wooden shacks on little cots. And the winter got very cold, and the summer got very hot. And we were limited with food, MREs. We ate a lot and stuff like that. So it was tough living conditions, but it was well worth it. I mean, it was very good to know that you were helping them out, and we did have some real Middle Eastern folks there helping out as well with the language and teaching us the language and the Marines the language. So it was a great experience all around.
We've got a lot to talk about, Mel. We train Marines here in one of the finest military operations in urban terrain villages in the world. We've imported everything from Iraq and Afghanistan. Every article in there. It's in detail. We use, I'm missing a word. There's a big Catholic community here. What's the matter with me? It's a branch of Catholicism. They're from Iraq. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we use them as role players. What the heck are they? It doesn't matter. Anyway, we'll talk about that off air, if you will. Again, it's the finest MOUT facility in the known world. They're popping up all over now. It was was originally a movie studio, TV studio, the only one, I guess, south of L.A. We've got a lot to talk about, Gal.
Yeah,
we do.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Oh, I'm older than a rock. I can't remember the name of that denomination, reports to the Pope. Anyway, back to you and your emails, Becca.
So how long did you work working with the Marines for helping training?
I did it for, on and off, a little over a year, I say I was there.
Wow,
year and a half.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was good, yeah. We had some breaks in between, but there were some people that really kind of lived there, for a long time. I had to come back and work, obviously, as an actor and stuff like that, but, some people stayed out there, the entire time, and it's quite a commitment.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
We've got an email here from a Marine that was at 29 pounds. And
really?
he's laughing. His name's Bob. He's in Virginia. He's laughing at your description of the living conditions, but he loves you anyway. He says he's just rotated from Afghanistan. And right back, he says your living conditions at 29 pounds were luxury compared to Afghanistan. But anyway, he loves you.
I'm sure.
Okay.
So we've just had the recent midterm elections, and everything has gone Republican, except for, we know, the executive branch, and the judicials kind of have 50-50. Well, what are your thoughts on the recent elections that just happened, the midterms?
Yeah, the midterms. Well, I'm thrilled. I remember watching it with a group of friends, actually, with one of our conservative groups. We had a bunch of us, and oh boy, it was just a celebration. Yeah, I'm very happy. Now we have a chance to try to do something. We had no shot before, obviously. People know how government works. I know you guys do. So now that we have at least Congress, the House and the Senate, we can try to get some things, at least pass them and get them to the president. And then, whether he vetoes or not, that's on him, but at least everyone will know it is indeed on him. So they're trying to get the pipeline through again, and, Obama's threatening to veto that, and that's something that a lot of Democrats as well as Republicans agree upon. So, we'll see how it goes. I know they're starting to do a lot of good things, and they're going to try to push some, some constructive bills through, and let's just hope we can get some work done, some really good change to the U.S. But like I said, Obama has the final word, so it's going to fall on him. What do you guys think? Were you happy about it?
well, I'm in favor. Definitely, it was good news to hear. The conservative Republicans are taking over, and we're looking at the seat in 2016. I'm in favor of the Keystone Pipeline. A lot of Americans don't realize the United States is crisscrossed with, I want to say, hundreds and thousands of pipelines already. Most people don't realize. So adding another pipeline is it's one of amongst so many. And from what I've read, $1.5 billion will actually go to the Dakota tribes, where parts of the pipeline is going to go. But it's going to also, a bigger picture is that it gets us off a lot of the terrorists in the Arabic countries are, these oil mongers, and they become very wealthy, and some of that money is going directly into terrorism. So these types of things, anything we can do to get off the OPEC terrorists, and it's across the board. A lot of those countries are associated with terrorism. So we have so much oil here in the United States, more than most any other country. We've just become an exporter of oil of 2 billion barrels a day. So what are your thoughts about the Keystone Pipeline?
Yeah, like I said, they're trying to pass that pretty much as we speak, and I hope it does pass. And it's up to Obama if he's going to try to veto it, which he claims he's going to. But I mean, most people agree on this. Like I said, Democrats and Republicans, it's a great thing. You mentioned, why should we depend on foreign oil, when we could do a little bit here? Even every little bit helps. It's going to create jobs for us in the U.S., and it's just, put more oil into the market. That's what it is. Oil's a commodity in the world market. So it's, of course, supply and demand. We have more supply. and less demand because our cars are more fuel efficient, whatever, it's going to be less money for gas, gas prices, and like you said, keep it out of the hands hands of terrorists. So it's a great thing, and I really hope we can get this through.
Yeah, I also want to comment, as I've crisscrossed the United States, one of the most interesting places I recommend everybody go to, it's in Texas, near Houston. They have an actual oil rig where you can go on it. It's a museum now, but they talk about so many things come from oil, like all the plastics. The vast majority of things are in and around everything that we do every day, including cars, and so much it comes from oil. So it's more than just what goes in the gas tank. And I think a lot of Americans don't even realize that. So it's amazing.
But that's what they mostly identify with, those gas prices. So that's why I mention it, because everyone's looking at gas prices. So yeah, but you're right. Oil we use across the board is helpful in so many different ways. So I don't understand why he wants to veto this, and it's inexplicable to me. It could do nothing but good in my eyes.
It's explicable to me. I haven't a scintilla of doubt that the abominations he said he was transforming America. Well, he is. The communism and Islam is what he's clearly transforming it to. How about the Western attacks emanate from Yemen? And yesterday he turned some more terrorists loose out of Gitmo to Yemen. This makes this is insanity, is it not?
Yeah,
There's one a day.
Absolutely.
One a day of this craziness, really. Where do you think it's
really
going?
It really is. And I'm sure you know more about this than I, but as far as Gitmo goes, what is the logic behind letting these some of the worst terrorists out and sending them back to their homeland? How is that going to benefit us at all? Are they not going to try to attack us again? It's illogical.
Well, they're now flat lying that 2% have been killed or recaptured. It's readily available on his Department of State site. However, reluctantly, it might be as many as 50%. So half of them are back to killing us. They're celebrities when they get back to Yemen. There are parades in the street and parties for the bastards. So, good word, inexplicable indeed, other than he is a closet Muslim. Period. It's clear.
Yeah, it's very, very strange, isn't it? I mean, can anyone be that naive? I mean, really?
No.
No. Yeah. How do you justify that at all? Letting them go? How do you justify that? I really don't. I can't answer this question because there's no answer for it. It's insanity.
Well, he took the position. He killed bin Laden. There's no Al Qaeda. Actually, there are 4 times the Al Qaeda elements than there were 3 years ago, not including ISIS. So if he insists we don't have Al Qaeda, then he doesn't need a policy, does he? And we certainly don't have one. Well,
didn't he even admit we don't have a policy?
Well, we don't.
Yeah, he said we didn't even have a policy, yeah.
We bomb a camel here in an unoccupied building there. Anyway, back to backpack.
So, Mel, what are your thoughts on Obama and what's he doing at the border with the amnesty and all of that?
You tell me, what is he doing at the border? He's doing nothing at the border. What he's doing is just making it like a green flag to come into this, the United States, and just you get every social services for free and taken care of and everything like that. So why not come across? We are stopping no one. I mean, the influx of children, and they weren't just children; there were older people as well that came in. I once again, it is totally mind-boggling, and how any U.S. citizen could think it's okay, and I don't think most do, Republican or Democrat. They're both horrified because we're letting people in that we have to take care of now, okay, especially the younger ones. How can we do that? Look at our schools. I mean, look at, places like California and New Mexico, Texas. I mean, when you have these people from the other countries come in and they don't speak the language, it's taxing on our schools and the whole system and trying to integrate them and, so on and pay for them. And then not to mention all the diseases that come along with that. These are folks from a third world country, and they don't have the vaccinations that we have here in the United States. And it is a real danger to us and to our children. They're going into the schools with our children, and they claim that they're checking these kids, and they're not checking them all. There's no way they can. And it's a mess. I don't know. Once again, it's hard for me to say. I don't know how or why. I don't even know why. I don't know how this is going on and how it's, been going on for so long. I mean, we've had lunches with Governor Perry, and he's explained it nicely, and he's said that for years now he's been trying to contact the president and, directly, and none of his efforts were being met. And he explained the situation that they had these large facilities that they had cleared for their people in case of a hurricane, right, which is a real thing in that part of our country. And they had these areas, these warehouses, empty for like I said, for people that needed hurricane relief if their homes were destroyed. And now they're filled with these, illegal children. So once again, what would happen if there's a hurricane now? There's nowhere for our people to go. So it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And then you have, can you tell me that terrorists aren't coming over the border too? If we're not really, paying attention to who's crossing and letting everyone and their brother in, don't tell me terrorists aren't coming in here as well. Right? And you guys probably know that.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Mell Flynn. This is Backpack. We want to tell you about a brave American hero. Brigadier General Ernest C. Adino, U.S. Army, retired, currently serves as Senior Advisor to the Kurdistan National Assembly of Assyria. He also serves as Senior Vice President of Radar Corporation. GeneralAdino.wordpress.com is his website. Yoda, are we privileged to be working with General Adino?
There are 4,700 retired generals in the United States. He and our dear friend General Vallely are two of the tops of the top. He was embedded with Kurds. He was decorated in combat, working with a small unit within the Kurds fighting the bad guys. It's our privilege and personal pleasure to know the good General Backpack. So.
Again, generaladino.wordpress.com. We're back with Mell Flynn, president of Hollywood Republicans and famous actress. We have a caller to take here, area code 214. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I just wanted to go ahead and elaborate on a little bit of what you guys were talking about, and I think that's very interesting stuff. It's very hard-hitting, but you guys are talking about a lot of things that aren't really getting to the root of the problem. I mean, what do you guys think as far as the root of the problem goes, as far as these immigrants and these illegal immigrants? I mean, give me your thoughts. Give me your voices. What about that?
Take a look. Thanks for the call. Excellent question, caller. Take a look, please, at themagnifiedview.com. In addition to votes for the Democrats, and they say cheap labor for the Republicans, really all about the people that make money from illegals. In that article, you'll see that federal, state, county, municipal government employees make money from them. School teachers union makes a fortune. Churches make a fortune. Attorneys, immigration attorneys make a lot of money. Other categories, clinics, free clinics make a lot of money. A shadow industry. Some of these have ganged up and they hire lobbyists, ensuring that the border would stay open. I think you'll enjoy and get useful information out of the magnifiedview.com call. Good call. We thank you, brother.
Thank you. And Ms. Flynn, what are your thoughts on getting to the roots of the problem?
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, future Democrat votes. Yeah, I'm sure there's a whole industry out there that, is taking advantage of the situation, and it's not good. We could go on forever and speculate. I can't tell you definitively one way or the other, but all I know is it's got to stop. I think that's what we got to focus on, stopping this. And I mean, Yoda did an excellent job of just naming a bunch of, different scenarios and possibilities why this is going on. So we just got to really get people in there, leaders in there that are going to stop this once and for all, and close down that border. We need that wall. We need to really secure it for our own safety. That's all I have to say. I mean, common sense, if you ask me.
Caller, we work closely with the Border Patrol. Their hands have been tied. They're in their own handcuffs for the past year. So it's really an open thing there, caller. Great call, anyway.
Yeah.
Take a look at the magnifiedview.com, if you will, please. Write to me, Yoda at magnifiedview.com. I answer everything. May take a few days. Thanks, Backpack.
Yeah, great question. So, Mel, what are your thoughts about the next 2 years, 2015, and where things are going with politics, and what are your current projects that you're working on?
I have some things project-wise. We're a couple of projects coming up. Hopefully, we're looking for funding, and that's always the key here in Hollywood and entertainment. You're always looking for funding. So hopefully a couple of those projects will come through. But I audition all the time, so something can come up that way as well. As far as politics go, hopefully, I think the Republicans, the House and the Senate, having them, I think they seem to be working together now. I mean, I was a little leery about some things at the beginning, but they seem to be getting their groove, and I think they're going to try to do some things. They'll try to get some bills up there. Like I said, it's the president, is probably going to veto. I don't know at some point if we have it veto-proof or not. I don't know if we can, that's a possibility. But let's hope they can get some things done, or at least try to. I don't know what the president's going to do the next 2 years. I'm very fearful. He seems to do whatever he pleases. It's hard to stop him. And people think, oh, why can't they just, do this or that, or just not let him do that? From what I understand from, congressmen out here, Republican congressmen, I mean, their hands are truly tied because there are not laws in place to stop a president from doing some of these executive orders. So the structure's just not there to do it. And they would like to change that. That's what they want to work on, so you don't have a rogue president that just, does whatever he wants and dismisses Congress altogether. So maybe they could fix something there in the system. I hope, because I'm happy for Congress, but I'm leery about this president. He's 2 years, he has nothing to lose, and I think he's going to try to push through anything and everything that he wants.
We traveled with the presidential press corps, Mel, under President Reagan and Bush, and it is an enormously powerful chair. It just is. Mm-hmm. As you intimated, when he cuts an executive order, it's like he sneezes, and an entire army says Gesundheit and grabs Kleenexes. It's just the way it is. In my view, it's way too much power in the hands of one guy.
All right.
Right, Backpack? What were you saying, Backpack?
Mel, we do have the president of the Writers Guild of America, and the Screenwriters Guild of America will look at hooking you up off air when we circle back with you.
He's on our board.
Oh.
He's on our board. Yeah.
Oh, really? Is he in the closet? Okay.
Oh, he's in the middle. Good guy.
Yeah.
Full on. He's a emeritus professor of law at UCLA. Cool guy, old personal friend. Anyway, good guy.
Good.
We've got about 10 minutes left. Mel, go ahead and speak to the audience to say, what are some of the major takeaways that you want all our listeners to hear?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, this is what I say. I know a lot of people are frustrated, okay? I hear a lot of complaints, a lot of my fellow colleagues, and, they hear complaints and everything, and people, get mad and this and that. But, I understand the frustration, but you have to take action. People need to get involved in their local politics, okay, in local government. They have to. At the central committee levels, town hall, city hall, school board. You need good conservatives to start infiltrating all those positions, because that's where we really need the help. We need to build a farm team, and you got to start at the grassroots level, okay? And you move up. So what frustrates me is that I hear so many people that they just complain and they don't do anything about it, and they leave it to a handful of us to work our butts off trying to do everything, and we still have careers of our own and whatever. We don't get paid for this. This is all volunteerism, this, the political realm that I'm in right now, the grassroots level. So I just ask everyone to get out there and really start paying attention, start taking action, help find, the good local candidates and back them, give them money, make phone calls for them, walk door to door. That's the most effective way to get people elected. Just really start to get involved. That's what you need to do at the local levels, because, if you don't, then what are we doing? Don't worry about the national scene, because, you're not going to have a shot. If we don't start here, we got to start at the grassroots level and really get involved in our communities. I don't know, attend town halls, whatever you have to do. Join groups like ours, conservative groups, Hollywood Republicans, or other conservative groups, or Tea Party groups, or what have you out there. But people need to that's my preaching for today. Get involved, everybody, please. That's the only way you could really make true change.
What local positions should we shoot for?
As far as what? Running for a candidacy?
Yes.
No, I don't suggest that. That's not what I'm suggesting. I suggest that you just get involved, like you get into a conservative group and learn what to do. Because this is the problem that we have. We have a lot of people that all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, yes, I want to get involved," and that's great. I'm happy for them, but they start too high. They want to run for Congress right away with no experience in politics at all, or governing, or even if they want to go into the assembly out here or whatever. You have to start lower. Get into town council, neighborhood council. That's what you could shoot for, neighborhood council, things like that, okay? Start at the lower levels, school board, water board, things like that. Work your way up, and then perhaps one day you could run for, city council, assembly, who knows, state senate, Congress, whatever, what have you. But we got to build a good farm team, and that's what we've been doing in L.A. County. We are building a good farm team. That's why we've had some successes. But people shoot too high. Just start at the lower grassroots level and get out there and help other candidates, good quality candidates. Find out who they are and back them, and learn how the process goes. People don't even know how politics work. That's why they get, with all these conspiracy theories and everything else. No, it's not conspiratorial. It's just getting off your butt and getting out there and actually doing the work.
All right, we've got about 6 minutes. How can our listeners find you?
You can go to HollywoodRepublicans.com and get my email, or at Mel Flynn on Twitter, MELLFLYNN.
Okay, great. And so one of the big questions that came through is, what are your birthday plans? Do you have a big celebration?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, for the rest of the night, we're trying to go see American Sniper if we can get in anywhere. It's sold out all over. That's supposed to be a great movie by Clint Eastwood, who I met and was snubbed for the Oscar as director, but hopefully he'll get Best Picture for this. But tomorrow we have a dinner planned too around football. It's football season, and I'm a football fan, so That's what we're doing. Dinner and football.
Ask Mel if she wants us to sing to her again.
You want us to sing for you again?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do want you to sing again.
We will.
Go.
We
will.
How can we help you, Rebecca?
How can we help you and your righteous cause?
Well, first of all, keep doing what you guys are doing. You guys seem like you're doing a great job, and you're a good service to everyone. And just send people our way, HollywoodRepublicans.com, and I could help them out in any way. What they need to know, information about anything to do with California politics for sure, and maybe set them in the right direction for anywhere else. But that's all right now, and just do what you guys are doing. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate it.
We want to get her back.
We'll definitely get you back. And just in a couple minutes, what are your 2015 plans?
I want to really start acting more, and move up in the political chain somewhat. Not sure how that's going to manifest itself, but I will always stick with politics as well, because not like I said, I'm not getting paid for it at this point. I'm not, it's frustrating, but it's something we all need to be involved with, because it just, for the future of our country and our children and everything else, we really have to, pay attention to what's going on and try to fix it. Try to help out the entertainment industry, get more conservatives out there, and maybe more conservative content on film and television, and just try to make a breakthrough that way, because socially it's very important what is put out there on television for our children. They what they see on TV and films, it's important. It makes a social statement. So I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing, conservative entertainment and politics.
Tell our audience about the upcoming meeting for Hollywood Republicans and details about what's going to happen at that meeting.
Yeah, our next regular meeting is the first Wednesday in February, but we have a convention coming up with the California Congress of Republicans. Hollywood Republicans is a part of the California Congress of Republicans. It's a bigger organization. That's like the mothership. And we are having our statewide convention. It's a statewide organization. We're having that this January 23rd, I believe, this next weekend, right? And you could find out more about that if you join us on Facebook, HollywoodRepublicans.com on Facebook. Please, I encourage people to do that as well, and you could get all our information and see what we're up to, and find out about that convention and anything else that's coming up of importance. I always put on Facebook with Hollywood Republicans page. So please check us out.
You've had a great reception by our esteemed audience, Mel. Our show, Voices of Global Freedom, and more will be joining us on demand in our archives. Anyway, you've done great. We've got to get you back, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. We'll get you back. Thank you.
We'll talk off air about a whole bunch of stuff, that we've covered tonight, and
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mel. Happy birthday to you.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, good to have you.
Enjoy. Have a great day. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Mel.
Take care.
Thank you. This is Backpack. We want to tell you about a brave American hero. Retired Major General, U.S. Army General Paul Vallely, StandUpAmericaUS.org, is a network of patriotic Americans. Stand Up America USA collects, analyzes, and evaluates intelligence for the safety of America. Over to you, Yoda.
As a veteran, the good general, one of 4,700 generals retired in the United States, is one of a handful. He's a soldier Backpack. Back in the day, a Ranger tab, being a Ranger and airborne, was death of a career. The old Pentagon was stuck on its rumble tanks and artillery and infantry set-piece battle. It's changed now, but back in that day, nonetheless, General Vallely earned his Ranger tab, his jump wings and jump master wings. We hold him in the highest respect, and Stand Up America is indeed him. Please, audience, take a look and help the good general save our republic, safe for democracy. Thanks, Backpack.
Again, standupamericaus.org. Yoda, what do you think about being featured with the Conservative Talk Radio directory?
I am excited about it. With any luck tonight, Ken will call in, the founding host, director of the directory. We're eager to talk to him, really. What'd you think of Mel? Was she a great guest or what?
Yeah, great guest. Really enlightening, and talking about everybody getting so much more involved in what's around them, and that's a major thing that we've seen, how to get people at the grassroots.
My concern now is there's a bunch of free stuff people that don't care what the administration or the abomination does. They're just busy wanting more free stuff. Recently now, he's had the brilliant idea of free junior college for everybody. That's right out of Mao Zedong's book, like the rest of what he does. It's a damn shame, really. Published figure, you know it's going to cost a lot more, is $78 billion for any half-wit that can tear himself away from the computer game that kill a couple years in a junior college. It's really shameful, really. My concern as well is the hard-working guys supporting a family. They and their wives are doing 2-3 jobs today. They don't really have time to be concerned with the abominations transforming America to communism and Islam. You got the free stuff crowd hanging out wanting to get more free stuff. We know who they are. There is 30% loyal constituency and followers. Opposite that, we've got the workaday, I call them six-pack Joe, my dear people, and Dancing with the Stars Gal. They're too busy and distracted trying to keep food on the table to keep watching what he's doing. So that's our job, isn't it, with Voices of Global Freedom and the MagnifiedView.com. Recently, despite the atrocity in France, claiming they were trained, outfitted, funded in Yemen, do you believe, sir, that President Obama last night let 3 more confirmed hard-ass terrorists out of Gitmo again to Yemen? Backpack.
Yeah, that's one of the big news stories, is that 3 of the terrorists from Yemen were killed in Paris, and now 5 are being shipped over back to Yemen, so they're up by 2 now, doing the math. So it's like that's craziness for most people, how that could happen.
And there are public parties and parades in the street. And these criminal, atrocious bastards, terrorists, come back to Yemen. But we're still turning them loose there. It's just, as our guest said, it's inexplicable, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the big questions has been, if someone who's Muslim has a toast that pops up and it looks like Muhammad, are they supposed to shoot the toaster?
Say that again.
So somehow a piece of toast comes up and it looks like Muhammad. Is Islam supposed to shoot the toaster?
I love it. I love it.
And that's what happened at Charlie Hebdo, is the cartoonists, as we're seeing.
The good news out of that, if you dare say so, is his circulation was 660,000 people got the magazine. I think it's up to 3 million now, so that's good news.
Oh, yeah.
I think Europeans are waking up now. The Belgians, the Brits, the Germans, Dutch are conducting raids now with their counter-terrorist teams. They should have been doing some time ago. For audience benefit, we've been at this a long time, this counter-terrorist thing, long before it was fashionable. We started this business in '74 after the Munich Olympic massacre. We've run around the world training countries that had formed then counter-terrorist teams. U.S. Army Special Forces created Delta, German GSG-9, the famous British 22 SAS, and others. We did 110 countries in 11 years. We've been at this for a while, and we've made a lot of friends in the world's hotspots. Many of those have been promoted. Hell, some of those are retired now, but we've followed their successors into the Department of Homeland Security now, into FEMA, into the three major intel agencies, and they're genuinely concerned, that and fine audience, that terrorism is coming to a neighborhood near us now. You're aware of these people from America, mostly young men, raised in Muslim environments among us, are now going to fight with ISIS in Iraq and Syria, where they're being trained, they're being desensitized. By that I mean they can cheerfully cut people's heads off and blow themselves up. So our real insiders, our real discreet whistleblowers are saying that terrorism is coming to a neighborhood near us pretty soon. What do you think, Beckman?
Well, we've been getting a lot of intelligence through social media and through emails, and I did want to break one of the stories that people aren't talking about. We can expand on this later, but Hezbollah, which is one of the worst, well, among many terrorist organizations, but they're in Venezuela, which is a despot place, and they have at least 5 terrorist training camps, and they've been aiding several people, and many of these are on the FBI most wanted list. And so Venezuela is working directly with Iran, and Iran is the mastermind of Hezbollah. So what are your thoughts about that latest news?
Were you in Venezuela back then?
I haven't been there.
I was. It was sophisticated, chic, hell of a place to visit. You could kind of live there on the beach. It was really. My thought always is how quick these places can go to hell. It was a wonderful place to visit, friendly people. Look at it now. It's 10 minutes away from martial law. Everything's rationed. They've run out of food, and as you said, and the Russians are there now with a big naval presence. They're using that. How the hell does this happen all the time?
Yeah, it's really getting out of hand, and from the reports that I'm reading, these terrorist training camps in Venezuela are sending people to Syria, and Iran's been boots on the ground in both Iraq and Syria, and that's one of the things we're hearing a lot about ISIS, but Iran is also a clear threat. They're also there fighting too.
We simply don't have a policy. As you said, and I think in our last show, we bomb a camel here and an empty building over there. Look at the president's actions now with Cuba. All this does, people, come from Cuba to here in inner tubes. We're not going there in inner tubes. What the hell is his motivation in changing that? It's a despot regime. If you go to Google Earth, you will find what amounts to concentration camps in Cuba. And he's bringing them on to communist America now. It goes on and on back, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. What are your predictions about what's going to happen in Cuba over the next few years?
Well, he's broken promises already. They're holding 58 Americans in asylum there. Some of them are murderers. They sent a young child down there to negotiate this for Department of State, who the intel agencies often call the enemy within. That's Department of State. The young lad they sent down there gave the farm away, of course, to the Cubans, who've already broken their promises. No surprise there. I think we're going to give and give. He'll give them the farm. They have a free ride now in sneaking their spies in on behalf of the Russians, on behalf of some terrorist organization. So, yay, the abomination scores again, Backpack.
We do have a caller. Caller, if you want to go ahead and speak your mind and ask questions. K98, we got a call. Go ahead and speak your mind.
Hey, it's Rick Robinson. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead,
all
sir.
Right. How you guys doing tonight?
We're great.
We had a wonderful guest. Were you able to catch it, Rick?
Oh, yeah, I was listening most of the way through it. I actually did have to break off for a few minutes here and there to deal with some technical issues and try to make sure I was able to call you guys. But I got to hear most of it. Really great show, guys.
We are bragging about being on your syndicate with Sparks Radio Network and K98. For the audience benefit, this on the line with us, delighted he called in, is Rick Robinson, the Grand Poobah of Sparks Radio Network. Rick, tell the audience how they can find you on the internet, please.
Well, there's several places you can find us. If you're looking specifically for the Spark Radio network, we do actually have our own website. It's just like it sounds, www.thesparkradionetwork.com. We also, through a business partner of mine, I have started an online station that I am the general manager of, as well as the managing partner of the network that I'm building, and that is K98talk.com. As far as the various ways you can find the shows, at this point they're about being disseminated everywhere. My show, America Off the Rails, is available on iHeartRadio. It's available on TuneIn Radio anytime the station is live with my broadcast. It's also available through Spreaker. You can find some of our older episodes, if you're adventurous, right here on Blog Talk Radio. And also, I have recently been picked up by Stitcher. So pretty much, if you don't know how to find me, it's mainly because you're not looking for me. Just saying.
That Stitcher is quite an accomplishment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
We are also told that you've been accepted by the Conservative Talk Radio Directory. Congratulations, Rick.
Thank you very much for that. It's actually, no one was more surprised by that than I am, to be quite frankly honest. But I'm really hard on myself when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I hear from people all the time what a great job we do, and I'm just like, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's really, for me, the biggest thing, honestly, and this is going to sound a little weird because, I'm on a website now with Sean Hannity and some of the others, but for me, the biggest one that kind of stands out as to just my aha moment of making it onto something like that lists, I think it's there's 100 different talk show hosts on there, but the one that stood out for me was the Jerry Doyle show, because he's now a conservative talk show host, but he used to be, and well, he still is, he's an actor, but he used to play on some shows that I watched while I was late teens, early 20s, like Babylon 5. And I'm a pretty big sci-fi junkie as well as a politics junkie. So the fact that I'm on a website that has my picture a few rows below his just kind of really made my day. Just saying.
You're an Asimov kind of guy. Are you?
I'm pretty much anything but the kitchen, everything including the kitchen sink kind of guy when it comes right down to it. I have an eclectic group of interests all the way around.
We always have also, it's quite an honor to be on the Conservative Talk Radio Directory. It really is. We're pleased. Ken, the fearless leader, like you, the firm hand of the Conservative Talk Directory, is forming a new board of directors. Backpack and I and Jana Rama, founding editor of themagnifiedview.com, are really honored to be members of that board of directors of the directory, Rick. So we're tickled to death, really. We're working closely with Ken. Yeah, I talked with him the other day, Backpack and I did, and he's a real pleasure and privilege, he said, to have you on there.
Well, it's definitely my honor. So the next time you speak to him, just pass along my gratitude, because it's, like I said, it's just to be on the same webpage with some of those guys after spending so many years listening to folks like Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and even Jerry Doyle, which is honestly my number one pick out of that list, just because I am sci-fi junkie as well as political junkie. But just to be even on that website at all is just a complete honor for me. So next time you talk to him, just tell him I said thanks again.
I will. Ken's listing us under 5 categories. One of them is top news picks. So within the directory, he has a bunch of categories, for best producer and best this and top news picks. And we were really thrilled that he's included us along with Hannity, Limbaugh, and others. So we're doing something right. We sure intend to keep doing it with you, Rick.
Yeah, I would definitely say you guys are definitely doing not only doing some good, but also doing the right thing. Because like you said, he's got you guys in several different categories in there, and the fact that I'm even in one of them is amazing to me. So the fact that you guys are in there multiple times just speaks volumes as to the work you're doing. So hats off to both of you.
We thank. We're going to promote the Sparks Radio Network. I understand. Backpack told me that you've invited us on your show.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're excited about that.
At this point, I think, unless something's changed, I think we were looking at, this Thursday's upcoming episode. Is that correct?
Good to go.
Yes.
All right.
We're good to go.
So we'll be on
a lot
your time.
Breaking in the world to talk about, I'll tell you. What's the name of your show, Rick?
The show that I do that's on Monday through Friday and then on Saturday mornings to afternoon is America Off the Rails.
How long have you been on radio?
Coming up on, let's see, we started February 2013, so coming up on 2 years and a couple of weeks, scarily enough.
What surprises have you had? Good ones, bad ones, any kind?
Honestly, I really haven't had any bad surprises. I mean, because honestly, this started out with no expectations at all. It was just something that I decided I was going to try to find a way to do, and I felt like it was a way for me to try to make a difference. And for me, there really haven't been any bad surprises. The biggest surprises is realizing that there are so many people out there that hold the same type of views that I do, because I spent, I guess, way too much time listening to, as we all in the business now call them, the mainstream media. And you just really start to feel like there's nobody else out there who thinks and feels the way you do when you don't hold those same values. And for me, the biggest surprises and the nicest surprises are when I get emails or when I get interaction from Twitter and I hear from folks that say, hey, I listened to your show the other day. You're saying the exact things that I believe and the exact things that I wanted to hear, and I'm so glad you're out there as a voice. And I'm sure you guys get those same kind of emails too. So, I mean, for me, there really aren't any bad surprises, at least not so far. I'm getting more well-known now, so I'm sure some bad surprises are probably coming soon, but I will take them as I roll with the punches, just like I do pretty much anything else.
We're getting emails, Ricky Robinson. They want to know what your background is.
My background actually is former law enforcement, also some state work here and there. As far as broadcasting experience, up until I started this, I really didn't have any. But I did spend quite a few years in uniform for both private and public sector. So that's basically the gist of my background. I was self-employed for nearly over a decade after I got out of public sector work. I ran a security firm and a private investigations firm until the economy crashed in 2008. And when that started going out of business, I basically took a job that I thought I was going to hate just to make sure I could put food on my family's table. And since then, I've been doing a lot of customer service work, which has helped me, I think, refine a lot of the skills I needed to be able to start doing things like this. So, not really anything great.
Sorry, Rick. I don't know that we ever discussed it. We have been active in the counter-terrorist business since 1974. That's why, to this day, we work with major intel and law enforcement, federal and allied agencies. That's why we appear under the pen names Yoda and Backpack. We started in 74, Rick, with the Munich massacre of the Israelis. So we've taught counterterrorism to major organizations around the world since then. I'm older than a rock, as you know. We're still active in counterterrorism. We've got a bit in common, don't we? Were you sworn somewhere?
Yes.
Were you sworn as an officer somewhere?
Yes.
Good on you, brother. Well, we've got a lot in common, more than we knew, don't we, Backpack?
Yeah, we do, definitely. And Ricky Robinson has been featuring Voices of Global Freedom Radio on Drive Primetime every Friday on the SparkRadioNetwork.com, so that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, anytime you guys are up on the website, you're also up on our TuneIn feed, so it literally actually does become drive time for anybody who has access to the app with all the smart card technology we have out there now.
That's great.
We're going to promote your network on magnifiedview.com. So we'll be doing press releases, we'll be doing other promotions, we'll be running your show and your lineup, Rick. How far in advance do you book guests usually?
Actually, as of right now, for my show, I haven't actually started moving to a guest format because up until now we couldn't support it. I have been working out technical issues over the last couple of weeks, and at this point I do believe we haven't worked out well enough where I would like to start booking guests. As of now, my calendar's open, so if you guys have any suggestions or anybody that you think would be a good fit, after you may want to hang out on the show first, kind of see how it usually goes, or maybe go back and listen to some of the older episodes. But at this point, I am going to start trying to move towards having guests on that show, but up until now, it's basically just been me ranting and talking about the major news events of the day with a few sound clips thrown in, just to make sure it's not just me talking over and over again.
Because of our contacts and Backpack's hard work, we have a stunning guest. It includes Representative Darrell Issa, Duncan Hunter, general officers, Pulitzer nominee journalists, Fox News anchors, and just a stunning lineup. Lately, we've got some Egyptians that have left Islam, pretty famous guys. I think you ran one of our programs where IQ, what's his name?
IQ Rassouli
has offered care under the Muslim Brotherhood, that umbrella of evil. He's offered them $1 million to prove him wrong about Islam, and they can't come near him. So we have a stunning lineup of guests. I'm sure a lot of them would love to be on your program.
Well, I'm definitely open, and like I said, for the moment, my calendar is wide open because I hadn't actually started booking guests yet. So
we believe firmly in cross-promotion. We don't want to hide our light under a bushel, somebody said. So you've sure been great to us, and we hope we've been good for you, Rick. We want to know you a long, long time.
Oh, it's definitely been mutually beneficial, and like I tell everybody else, I'm either going to keep doing this until I've no longer got breath or until I've no longer got an internet connection, whichever one happens first.
Well, I'm still sitting around doing it, Backpack's doing it, and cops and agents pick us up and drive us around, and it couldn't get any better. Could it, Backpack?
Oh, it's great. We're excited about 2015, and Ricky, if you just want to speak to what are some of the rantings that you've had about 2015 and the abomination and that sort of thing?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing, and you guys kind of touched on one of them right as I was about to call in. It took me a minute to get queued back in because, of course, Spreaker, or not Spreaker, but Blog Talk shuts everything down as you're trying to call in. But Yoda was referring to the whole debacle with Cuba now. And I guess the thing that drives me crazy about that is libertarians and the more liberal-leaning folks that are talking about what a great thing this is going to be for both their economy and ours. And they don't seem to take into account the very things that Yoda mentioned, which basically we've now, again, with a very porous southern border, swung our doors wide open, and now anybody that wants to come in from there is basically going to be able to find a way to do it, and we could have spies from pretty much anywhere that's communist in the world at this point pouring in, and nobody's going to know the difference. And it's the same reason over and over again, while I keep talking about if they really want immigration reform, the first thing they need to do is block the doors on the border, because at this point we have people coming from countries to the south of us that have bases from other countries that hate us. And I hate to say, and people get on me for this all the time, but if you stand someone of Muslim descent next to a Mexican and they're wearing the same clothes, you can't tell them apart. That's not racial profiling, that's just common sense. So if they really want things to change, the first thing they need to do is make sure that our borders are secure, and then we can take a look at this immigration mess that they keep wanting to talk about. But for now, all we keep doing is making more and more things available to more and more people that hate us, and eventually it's going to blow up on our faces.
Point well made, Rick. Sorry, you'll know in law enforcement, we work closely with ICE and the Border Patrol. We've got a reputation in hostage and barricade negotiation and training. The Border Patrols have been in their own handcuffs for a couple years now. They've been told to withdraw from firefights, from gunfights. Of course, the cartels know this, so they're sending their mules over, people with drugs now and human trafficking. They're sending them over with AKs, secure that our valorous, heroic Border Patrol has to retreat, virtually surrender from that. Is that the damnedest thing? Also, they are picking up Hezbollah recently, ISIS, some Korans on our side of the border. So no question, Hezbollah, now a couple ISIS flags have been found on our side of the border. I don't see it ever shutting down. Do you, Backpack or Ricky?
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Ricky, on that?
I mean, at this point, I really don't see any way of fixing it without doing a full reset down there because, and to be honest, this all stems back to one of the biggest things that everybody's been throwing a fit about is this whole immigration mandate that Obama came up with. That was the most pointless thing that he ever did other than just to thumb his nose at the American people and say, I know I told you I couldn't do this because I'm not a king, but look what I'm doing now. Because the bottom line point is, with the policies he already has in place, only 1% of anyone who comes across his border illegally is ever going to face any type of interdiction from ICE. And it's designed that way on purpose at this point. So all he's doing now is basically flaunting his executive powers, showing the people and the rest of the government that he's going to do what he wants whenever the heck he wants to do it, and the rest of us can just sit back and do nothing but try to vote for change. And now that we have all these Republicans that are supposed to be in here, so far from what I've seen from them, it seems like they're not really doing too much any different so far either. That's my biggest concern about 2015 and 2016 is so far, I know they've only been in office for a couple of weeks now, but so far I just see Boehner and McConnell basically just kind of going along with whatever the president wants at this point, and I really hope at some point they find their spines again.
So do we. They're making a list of what they can't do. They keep adding to the list. Radio's about to shut it down for a couple minutes. I don't want it to be abrupt. Wrap it up for us, Rick. We're delighted to work with you. It's enormous mutual benefit. Moreover, a huge benefit to our audiences. So we'll let you wrap it up, brother.
Well, thanks again for having me on, just for even this brief a time, and I do look forward to having you guys on Thursday. Just to wrap things up, you asked what my biggest thoughts and fears were for 2015. At this point, like I said, I'm just hoping that at this point the Republicans start telling the president what they can do by pushing everything through the houses and making him veto every single thing that they want done, so that by the time it is time for the 2016 election, they have a list of this is what we've tried to do, this is what the president has stopped us from doing. So we need our person, whoever that might be, please for the love of God, not Bush or Christie, to be the one that comes into the office so that we can move forward and actually get these things done. Now, whether that happens or not remains to be seen. But if Boehner and McConnell don't find their spines, I'm not holding my breath.
We thank you, Ricky Robinson. It's been a great interview with you, and Mell Flynn, Hollywood President of Republicans. Thank you so much. We're happy to be syndicated with K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network and TopTalkRadio.com. Thank you so much, Ricky. Have a great weekend.
Talk to you off air. Thanks. Let me join Backpack. Good to know you, brother. We'll know each other a long time.
Thank you.
Jake.